So I just want to do an overview of the prices of Scarlet and Violet era booster boxes and how there's just no clear buy right now. And that's why I've told you guys recently, the only booster boxes I've even bought in the past like month have been those Journey Together booster boxes that I pre-ordered. And that's it. Really haven't bought anything Scarlet and Violet. And that's because everything has run up so much in the past few months that it just right now to buy any of these, it just doesn't seem that smart to me. I was able to buy like Temporal, Paldea, you know, a few months ago for like I remember buying Temporal at like 105, buying Paldea at like 130. And all those have gone up so much now. It's like I'm just buying new releases when I can. And that's it. I mean some of these sets it might make sense to go back and maybe pay the premium you're paying right now because of this whole market, because they're probably some of these probably aren't going to get reprinted again. But at the same time, it's like in this strong market, you're almost just better off buying the new stuff because this is how hyped things are. If you can get anything in MSRP, as of right now, it's probably, maybe a smart idea to buy that. Like, let's say Team Rocket. I mean, that to get an MSRP is probably going to be insanely hard, but like something like that, or even Journey Together, getting that MSRP as in this market, it sort of makes, I guess, in the shorter term, right, makes more sense than to buy like one of these other boxes that, like base here at like 150. Like, I'd rather pay another $20, get the newest, hottest thing that's probably going to run up a lot quicker than like base. That's just how I see some of these things. Like, some of these are so close or at MSRP to the point where I'm like, I'll just rather get the new sets that are super crazily in demand MSRP. Obviously, taking a little bit of a gamble if you're just holding off on buying anything older, right? And just buying the newer stuff. I'm not saying to exactly do that. You don't have to go all in on just the new stuff. You can still buy some, of the older things, but just everything right now is pretty expensive in Scarlet and Violet. So that's why for me, all I did in the past month was buy those Journey Together booster boxes because I got them for under MSRP, and that's why I bought them. But yeah, just want to do an overview just to show you guys why I haven't been buying anything. Just nothing really makes a lot of sense right now. So Scarlet Violet base is at like 150, which is still under MSRP, but this is a base set. I think it is the best like modern base set of like all time, but there isn't that much value in here. But at 150, it's not gonna get reprinted again. I think it's pretty, I think just agreed upon with everybody because there's really no need to reprint this base set. Long term, yes, it'll go up, but at 150, like I said, I'd rather just buy like Journey Together or something at MSRP than buying this. That's just me. I know this is not getting reprinted or whatever, but it's just the base set, guys. So, you know, just in my opinion, even though it's not getting reprinted, not really worth it. That's just me. Now, going on to Paldea Evolved. Now, this one's a little bit interesting because, this is probably not getting reprinted again. I mean, it had its like smaller reprint thing at the end of last year, but it's pretty expensive. It's $200. Now, if you go and you search up Silver Tempest booster boxes, those are $230. So if you spent another $30, you could get Silver Tempest booster boxes. Now, Paldea Evolved, overall, is it probably a better set? Sure. But Silver Tempest, 100% out of print, has Lugia, Rayquaza. So, it's a little bit interesting with Paldea because I don't think it's going to get reprinted. It has good value with the Magikarp. It has obviously the other cards like the Raichu, Tyranitar, and stuff. But it's, it was so cheap just a few months ago. It was like 130, and now it's 200. It's a little bit like, rough, especially even with Sword and Shield stuff, I guess, too, because those have also run up. Buying this at 200, but long term Paldea at 200, it's probably not that bad. But it is kind of hard seeing that you could have bought this so much cheaper a few months ago, but just everything has run up. But Paldea Evolved at this price point, if you compare it to some of the newer Scarlet and Violet boxes I'm going to show you here, $200 isn't that bad. but it is still pretty expensive. Now here is a perfect example of, a box that is, it's a little, it's I guess a little bit old, it's a little bit older right now. It's over a year old now, but it's so expensive for no reason. Obsidian Flames is 185. Tell me why Obsidian Flames right now is only $10 cheaper than Paldea Evolved. That doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, most expensive card in Obsidian Flames right now is what, $70? The Magikarp's what, over 200? I mean, Paldea Evolved then is a lot more attractive because when you compare it to other things in Scarlet and Violet, it's actually relatively cheap. But yeah, I guess it's all just relative, but just everything's sort of expensive. But there are some things that are more overpriced than other things, and I think Obsidian Flames is a perfect example of a booster box where it's overpriced because, like I said, Paldea Evolved, it's older, it's a better set, it's only $10 more than Obsidian. It's like kind of dumb in my opinion that it's the way it is, but yeah, Obsidian at 185 over MSRP, not that great of a set, it doesn't have much value. Pull rates are pretty easy. It's not. I mean, this is in my opinion, probably the most overpriced box in Scarlet and Violet right now. It's crazy how expensive this box is for what it has inside of it. But next we have Paradox Rift. Now Paradox Rift, out of all these I'm showing here, is probably one of the better buys because it's at 150. If you go search around, you can probably find them still in the 140s. But right now, lowest listing is in the 150s. So this is still under MSRP. I think there's only two boxes under MSRP. I think it's Scarlet and Violet base and now Paradox. And I'd be picking Paradox over Scarlet and Violet base, paying an extra, like, what, $10, get Paradox. I think it makes a lot of sense to buy this over anything else because it is still under MSRP. Probably not getting reprinted again. I mean, this was cheap for the longest time. There was a ton of it. Probably not going to get reprinted. Paradox is a decent set. So at 150, it could make sense to buy this because I think at this point it is pretty much a year old now. So this one, I would say out of everything is the more obvious buy than everything else. But yeah, it's still, I mean, the fact that it was like, you could have bought these for $90 like a month ago. It is kind of crazy now. It's at 150, but long term and stuff, 150 for this box is probably not that bad. But yeah, this is probably the best buy out of all these that I'm showing here in my opinion. Now Temporal, this one I told you guys was going to run up because it was at MSRP at market price and it was going to quickly go over, and it did. Now it's at 170, and you can see here this listing only has 4 boxes. It quickly goes up to 175. There's only one box here. Then it goes up to 180. So Temporal, it's still available on the Pokemon Center website for MSRP 161. It is going to reach here to 180 very soon. That means you'll be getting a $20 discount per box. If you buy a case, you're saving $120. So that's definitely going to be a play. I've been talking about it for a while. But Temporal, when that does happen, I mean, even right now, buying from Pokemon Center 6 booster boxes, it's still a decent play. It's only $10 more per box than Paradox. I think Temporal is worth spending another $10 per box to get it rather than Paradox Rift. I've always just said it. I think Temporal is going to age a lot better than Paradox. I think Paradox is going to be behind Temporal all the time. That's just how I see it. But Temporal, for MSRP on Pokemon Center, definitely is still a play, but market price right now is like 170, and it's going to quickly go up to 180. And when it does get to the 180 point, it is a little bit of a tougher buy, but then just buy from Pokemon Center, in my opinion. I think that's probably the play there. Next, Twilight Masquerade. So Twilight Masquerade, is not available anymore on the Pokemon Center website. It went out of stock not too long ago. These now are 190, and like I said, it is crazy. Think about it this way: Twilight is like the same price as Obsidian Flames, and this has the Greninja that's like $300. Like, that's how overpriced Obsidian is, guys. I know this is a newer set and stuff, and that's even, I mean, it's just kind of crazy to me that Obsidian's still that expensive when you compare it to all these sets that have way more expensive cards, but it's the way it is. But Twilight at this price at 190, it's a pretty new set. It's only the 6th main set. We're right now at the 8th main set. So we're about to be at the 9th main set with, Journey Together, but relatively new at 190. This is a pretty rough buy. I'd probably just hold out. I'd probably just save your money. I wouldn't be buying Twilight at this point because Twilight could definitely, in my opinion, still get reprinted. So at 190, I'd probably just, it's not worth it to me to buy Twilight at this point. And Twilight, for some reason, like, it has gone on like a run and stuff, but there was a point, I don't know if you guys remember, where there actually, it was actually going down here. I don't know if it wasn't here, but it was actually a point where they were dipping. I think it was right here, where they were like dipping. There wasn't that much sales volume, and then now it's gone up because obviously the whole market. But Twilight, it's a decent set, but it's not like, in my opinion, worth paying this much. I'd probably go with Paldea over Twilight because I'm not gonna get reprinted probably. It's only like $5-10 more, and you get the Magikarp. And the Greninja in here is more expensive than the Magikarp, but I think Magikarp is more of a, I don't know. I feel like the Magikarp is more of a staple in the Scarlet and Violet era than Greninja. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I feel like people, if you were to ask what are the most popular or more memorable cards in this era, I feel like Magikarp's gonna be pretty up there, even though it's just a normal illustration rare. So Twilight, I don't think is a very good buy right now at 190 because it is pretty new and it probably could get reprinted. So I'd probably skip out on this. Now Stellar Crown is 165. It's over MSRP. Stellar Crown, it's it's better than Obsidian, but it's not that great of a set. It has the Bulbasaur, Squirtle, but buying like that Stellar Crown right now, like over MSRP when it's a very new set. It's the second newest set. I wouldn't pay MSRP honestly for Stellar Crown. Like I said, I just wait for the new releases. Like a lot of these, newish sets that are MSRP or whatever. I mean, I don't see the point of buying Stellar at MSRP, to be honest with you. I would skip on this. People didn't want to buy it at 110, 120, and I guess now people are buying at MSRP. Stellar Crown, it's all right, but it's not all right enough to be at over MSRP, and I don't think that's a good buy. So, yeah, Stellar Crown, I think is a pretty hard pass. You just notice here with me saying this with most of these boxes, a lot of them, they're just not that great buys right now. Just everything is pretty expensive. Surging Sparks, pretty obvious, no buy here. I mean, it's gonna get reprinted here. Hopefully, it brings prices down so you can buy back in and stuff because right now it's going for 250. So yeah, this is obviously not a good buy because of that reprint that's gonna come here soon. So yeah. That's just an overview of all these Scarlet and Violet era booster boxes, just to give my opinions on each one. As you can tell by everything that I've said here, no obvious buys, like maybe Paradox, maybe Paldea, but everything else, it's just a possibility. A lot of these could get reprinted, maybe excluding the first 4 sets, but everything else, like Temporal and above, especially like Twilight and above, definitely could get reprinted. So buying it over MSRP for a lot of these it just is a hard buy for me. But yeah, that's all I want to talk about. I just want to do an overview here. Hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you on the next one.